Is it getting, Sid, is it getting, it just gets automatic.
Wow, thank you all for coming. It's so great to see all of you. Here we are. Are we good?
Yeah, I don't know if it,
Okay. Here we are at 2727 California Street in Berkeley, also known as the Chin to the Shangri people. This is our final high dawn reading of the season. We have one more event on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on Zoom, and it's Cedar Psycho talking about Joanne Tyler. It's going to be really great. He's going to be talking about her work, he's going to be talking about friendship and collaboration, he's going to share audio recordings of her and photos of their trip to Oakland 2014. It's just going to be really fun. So, hope to see you there. I am also going to do this thing where we are doing a fundraiser right now until the end of June, and our goal is $20,000, and we have a very generous donor and Jim Astros of the Firehouse Fund give us a $5,000 gift matching. So if anybody, yes, very exciting. So we have even on our Instagram, our awesome new communications coordinator Madeline set up a fundraiser like right on Instagram. You can just give $20. It would be like actually so helpful to getting us to that mark, which would then get us halfway to our goal. All of our events are free, so if you haven't been to events or enjoyed them or appreciate what we do. Okay. And that's what we're doing supporting next year's programs. And also, I should say that next year is our 49th anniversary. So if there is ever a time to support us, it would be in that year leading up to the 50th, because like we really want to have a great celebration for the 50th. So now would be a really amazing time to help us get to that 50. Okay, here we are. We're going to have a great reading. Leena and Sophie, I cannot wait. I'm sure you can't either. I'm going to way. The great Claire Grossman will be up in a moment to introduce our readers, and have a good night.
I think we should give a little round of applause to dear Uncle Sid for organizing all of this. SFMoMA has been very fun and cool this year and very special to me, so thank you, Sid, for letting us hang out and think together. It's really cool. Okay, so we're lucky to be hearing from Sophia Dahlin, and Leena Joshi, whose works I'm going to try to describe in tandem right now, at the risk of oversimplification, so sorry. Leena writes of starlight and cedar, of horniness and dogwood blossoms. Sophie of lily pads, the moon, a lake, the moon again. Set against all this scenery are the two poets, impish and beseeching, zippy and a little reckless, I think, in all their good old-fashioned yearnings. You often feel when you're reading Sophie or Leena like you are in a forest or a disco. Leena is 80 and brave, hard smiling from the back of a crush's new motorcycle. My intentions, they write, are fancy and invincible. Indeed, both are dauntless as they tell you that they are thinking of you, or that they want you to come closer, and they will specify too how this approach will happen. Hold my earlobe while we're dancing, says Leena. Come here, says Sophie. I'll put my nose in your little neck. What is the underside of all this bucolic frisking about? Both tell you by feigned omission. Who in my neighborhood sleeps beneath bushes? No one I know, says Sophie. Who bangs heartily at night? No one I know. Leena remarks on the coloniality of each minute, but please, they add, it cannot be constantly sensed. These ellipses suggest what, or really who, is absent, offstage, interplanary, or dispossessed. Such moments do not seek relief, do not present awareness as a route to deflection, and this is so rare, I think, where we are, to just sit with this antagonism, as Leena does, for instance, when placing themselves as a shopper and shoppers at the mall built upon a shell mound. In her poem, Sophie says what she wants, so brisk and lucid that it cannot be called confessional. It is borderline epigrammatic. Like our one true prophet, who I think we can all agree is Bernadette Mayer, she is a casual deliverer of maxims, loves temporary like an infant, she tells us, or writing is harder than watching TV. Leena seeks clarity, but something often catches in their throat. In their poems, there's a tongue, meaning a language, whose execution feels clumsy and kind of haunted. There is someone's tongue that they implore to touch them while standing close. And there is the tongue of a dog, unfurled and hapless while it chases a hawk near some water. Leena scolds the dog, then himself, for doing so. Sophie says her skin snags on sticky stars that complicate the night. This, she tells us, is a needed rural analog to her desire. Leena's heart also likes to range if given latitude. The shoals at Point Lobos cut me loose, as did Wonder Valley's emptiest basketball court they raid. It is not that these are romantic lyrics in the capital R 18th century sense, not the kind where the poet is prompted by something in nature and goes out on a meditative excursion and then comes back to the scene with new insight. But there is no doubt a triangulating of feeling against the sky and shoals, and even in lawns or leaf piles made pastoral by Sophie or Leena. These two are, if anything, I think, more in the tradition of a poem like Auden's In Praise of Limestone, where the landscape is, to our Sophie's formulation, one on which you might snag your skin in a good way. In his poem, Auden describes a secret system of caves and conduits, springs that spurt out everywhere with a chuckle, each filling a private pool for its fish. He alludes to temples and statuary, and there's like quite a bit of gay and Freudian funny business. It gets really allegorical. Somewhere so calm-seeming must attract provincial, even complacent personalities, Auden thinks, uneasily considering such naivete. Not unlike Sophie laying in the grass or Leena ankle-deep in water, for Auden, the body against this backdrop is at once sexy and ordinary, connected, he says, to the big, busy world by a tunnel with a certain seedy appeal. I would become an ordinary person if you did, Sophie says in one poem. But you are awake, and I am ordinary anyway, and it pushes through me. As Auden imagines the kind of flawed person brought up on this limestone terrain, he then imagines himself too as one such person. And maybe you, his interlocutor, whom he repeatedly addresses as dear, is one such person too. It's a topographic lyric to be sure, but it's more about someone calling you dear and making messy allegories about a really appealing rock, and thinking with you out loud, intimately and uncertainly, about history and whether or not we're in it. Is there anything better? I too am reproached for what and how much you know, he says. He admits that he knows nothing of either a faultless love or the life to come. This is what it is like to sit with Sophie or Leena, as you will see in just a second. They will announce that the sun is out, that it's hot enough to swim. They will take you past bent trees where the wind feels good on your legs. And when you know too much and too little, when you feel unafraid of love, dear, they will bring you to water and, before you dive in, to borrow some words from Leena, compel you to look at its surface, making eyes at the space between being alive and being thrown loose. Please welcome Leena, who will read first, and then we'll hear from Sophie.
Hey everyone. Thank you, Claire, for that. That was really lovely. Okay, how are we living? Good. I'm so happy to be here. Sid, thanks very much for asking me to read. And to everyone else, it's nice to see so many faces. I feel like it's been a little while since I've seen this many faces I was looking forward to seeing in one place. So thank you for that. I'm going to read without much further ado. There'll be some ado in the middle, I'm sure. This is called Dressing Blessing. I limp out today, my body loose and heavy. My locus of thought shimmers when the wind sweeps through the corridor, hurting all my parts that exist in ambiguity. Dull throbs, small in the low. Fabric ties of think won't lay flat on the lines. They bend the same as words that schism to my arms swing. Hey, I'm down the road already. My conscientious long neck not fit. I long to gift the grip of roses to a cool, beautiful babe, like a frog with a bounty of gifts. This is called, that's what it's called. It's called Basha, which means language. The rhododendrons are blooming. They are known to me now as familiars, like the small, rough licks of cats on the block, and the buzz of unavoidably GMO pollens. I am here completely on accident, kinless with no real language to lay out in. When I stretch my hips in one tongue, it is haunted sing-song, lewd and childish. I try another and am burned by absolute presence, the news cycle, and Wi-Fi radiation. I understand the coloniality of each minute, but please, it cannot be constantly sensed. That is asking too much of the body praying to understand that it is not made of grievance. This next one is called Test Site for Is this weird? Do I sound weird?
Maybe I'll just, is it okay if I'm this far back? Yeah? Okay, great. This is called Test Site for Antithesis. It really looks like nothing, honestly. But because I know it, so I'll do it. To begin, unfold it like one half dog-eared cartilage, pliably decent, uncanny in its ability to compress the world into microbytes of motion. Staccato computer-generated imagery paints time variegated, chopped up, and we are fascinated, that is, held at face, no longer rocketing around in space. I try someone's fingers through my belt loops as favored corporeal power divestment. Do you hate to love being bound by this? A split face asks, spoken with a smile. Again, we let go and go again towards movement. An insincere laugh is sincere amongst society that accepts it as necessary. To smooth undue nerves is to move things along. Certain manners are supremacy's tonic. Manners feed directly into the comfort of others, and whose comfort is prioritized. There's a tantrum being thrown around how being alive should always be comfortable. Should one acknowledge a flicker down to the lips? When to touch the top fingers to a shoulder slope, when to paw and whistle on the signing of a bill to kill millions, when to die a martyr death so it will be aptly celebrated, when to do nothing to the words but decide will suddenly be the opposite. How lovely and how delicate. When to puff up a chest with poison of 100 years of violence. What should have been a wholesome body on its own has gained mass porousness. My mind is over-pollinated with expectations of the host. Walking by the large extended family, fighting outside McDonald's is witnessing true substance. Limbs rise head to gesture and tongues wag to a point. Artifice is a coup, the same kind of uncalled for stupor as when a menstruation device fails in the middle of the night. And you awake feeling like a slap that's cooled, all will but with a stumble. Shuffled algorithms attempt to confuse a populace that's asking for it. Surely algorithm jealousy exists, seeking a daily common touch to carry out quiet demands of background refresh. My romance is an observation, and yet, if this was held outside the exhibition, here in the text I would say, every day I don't like it, but I do my best.
My G calendar alarm from now in 15 minutes says, don't contribute to your own violence. My capacity for having a good time exists. Sometimes you read an old poem that has a bunch of words, like, a bunch of old words. Well, as a kid, I'm proud of it. This is untitled book 4, yeah. It is all at odds in the long year. You are in love, but also a waddle. Over a slow water weed type weed, you tell your lover, I'm boiling. We eat sockeye off linen, rare press on scales, act out just the cloud scenes of ancient text. It reads, I'm cast from pomegranate, jewel, wax. I'm a single motion repeated in the salt room, heated by sleep. This year, ellipses are revealed as contentment sounds. A hush wards off the sad returns, bent cedar griefs, or whatever be. This is also untitled, Paranoia. We call this part of Wisconsin the driftless zone, or just the driftless. Somehow swampy because it avoided the ice age that flattened the rest of the plains. This morning is so humid it's hard to imagine what came before this kind of humidity. What came before this morning? Subconscious desires in our dreams, the drunkenness of moonlight, certain realization. This is girl nice. I'm most defied when I feel like this. My intentions are fancy and invincible. I've practiced being quiet since the womb, but around you, I forget. Yelling at dinner, then popping both hands over my mouth. If you like it, I'll move to you like the thickness of clouds, like an operation. Silent and natural, just to get the line of salt on your eyelids. Okay, this is, if I wake up and say my body is real, which I do, try to. If I wake up and say my body is real, then my body is real. Dear enemy, come down from this hill. Shitting for 2 hours straight is like sitting through an orchestra. There's almost something beautiful about it. We rise empowered at sunset, growing the old good words, swathed in the miasma of wellness. The bacterial mother pretends this. One genderless god asks me if me and my siblings will dance all night, like a body doesn't exist. If we can go forever on a balm, giving slow-lidded bovine legs, and rub where it hurts. Our packets of tightness pungent as we demolish each other's thighs, singing songs to each excised vital organ. Clawing acrylic vials and dripping pipettes of the tincture industrial complex down our throats. Listen to the marble lobby of our soft belly cackles. A body can't catch a break. A body works hard until it doesn't. To say it epigenetically, we found each other as eggs in our immigrant mother's stomachs. Smoothly traumatized, one crush of rose petals into the purple mix. Rolling mentally the temples and gently, holding foreheads, retinas, fingertips. Okay. Help me alight upon the ray of the afterglow. Help it last, make it last long enough, please. This party is ending and it asks, what if not for all the ways you told yourself it was possible, and it is well, and it continues to be. That's about being chronically ill and going to the grave anywhere. Not that I've done that in 3 years, so who knows? I will again. We'll see. Okay, let's start. This is called Home Island by a Guy. I wake up this morning and press my fingers into the roof of your grave. The singular brand of time protocol is finally splintering. We hold hands knowing this country is not any kind of kinship, but a war system, a money penitentiary. I examined the mass of my birth and the birth of the country I live in, watching it carve a very long tunnel to an unknown floor. Who shows up for this state of ripeness? A cavern stone stands emitting charge in the dark. It is strapped to a diode, and that diode blinks. This material is precious. It makes smartphone chips. No one has ever made a promise about human life. All migrants move toward other realms, doing rituals from every motion, scattering clock hands and dogwood blossoms, frying sandwich plastic from the mouths of fish in the ocean, bending gooseneck cable that only responds to one's full weight. There is no schedule to the way the state commits violence. The promise is that rituals will remove obstacles and give us place. What is my origination? People always ask. Please mark, I am perpetually gone. Or I promise to a fault. Is it the birthing point or the point of collapse? You must tell those in power where your allegiances lie. To whom you are an ally, the big news being that you know yourself. When in between on a plane over the Atlantic, I got sick. My skin stretched over the whole earth in distrust. Okay, this is moving on time. Keep going. This is untitled. Sorry, listen. Oh, cool.
Say more, what
I did that. The key part of my personality that listening. I keep asking for stuff to be roasted from my so far, no one's really been like up to the organizational task of it. So I don't know organize a conference. Oh, we're okay. That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, untitled development. I'm in Emeryville thinking about the shell mound this mall was built upon, flicking seeds through my teeth at every easy shopper. You think I belong here? I used to think if not for fist fighting my demons, I would be nonviolent. I take them out, make slow to no permissions. Behind the dunes of an ear are whispers of pleasure and whispers of rupture. Cracks in the marble slab are cold, switch acids on. Ridges of a shell shard that teases by lifting up and back into the sand again and again to block the beetle's path. Meandering, but I'll pull it back. I won't lose the line. I am told and inspired to be more clear. And that which becomes that, which becomes that, this is performative utterance made of a kind of wrestling. Now I want words to be a solid block of hymnal. I know nothing of church morning, but I grew up in America, so I do. So I am suffused with milk, comfort, cream of wheat, dust rags under the sink, liquid latex, street lamps, bittersweetness. This is probably a cousin of the one right before it, a site for a memory surface. This one's new also, I haven't read it. Actually, next two are new. Come on. All the way back to when I was shrieking, and my sister was too. Pointing at two-speed rhododendron in immigrant yard, i.e. the big opportunity, okay. Now move. I'm consciously yearning to get back to the hilarious of the near unknown. A toddler mind of anticipation. 2. Motherboards, school districts, everything tightens around revisionist history. It's not Mumbai, but Bombay. But New World, though what to unname and imply with no name fate like urban boundary line. Can we upend the field and the sea? This is not that different. Yet another project of long violence, worshipped through lead paint siding, plastic milk cups of petrichor that seep out of the earth in early morning. Froglets that leap from fallen feet on a sodden lawn. Not Silicon Valley, but Silicon Forest. So sudden and devoid inside this holding of white reserve intact. Please, only say one thing. It is pastoral through its noses. No, it is 90s network imaginary. No, it is a test site for arranged marriage justice progeny. Assimilationist, light-skin success story. Neoliberal, imperial, generational, deep well. 3. But we have no birth order or gender adjustment for any kind of falsified belonging, no deformation. We ruined all of it gladly. Now I move consciously into a chaos magic of yearning. It is a hot to the touch, jaggery sense of transmission. Here are my friends that I've made, and some space to sit in the garden. This is called Late August, inarguably the best time for doing, I don't know. When you pulled up on your new motorcycle, like 2 years hadn't even happened. Wilson was pink from the sunset. And I saw it on accident, saw your recent soft scars, your braids askew, watched you pull off your leather skull cap in slow motion. You say you're mostly fine after the hit and run, and we admire the sunlight on chrome in silence. Then I slide on slow to be near you again. Look, there is homosexuality in the way rubber tread grips the pavement. Or the moment a turn hangs in midair, the way gravity suspends for 1 second. The wind whips single tears out of us. I'm hard smiling on the thunderbird. If you lean in, can you hear my head echoing with a downward release of piano keys and the main ingredient singing, "Prove my love to you." This is no religion, but dutiful freedom. This is actually, I think, a title of like an extended club mix. So again, the club illusions, to which I am not participating in anymore, but it's a nice anticipation. Yeah. No religion, but dutiful freedom. Spirit says, I am uncanny, feeling a halting rhythm like this in the club, touching my breath. I turn to it in the mirror and make eyes at the space between being alive and being thrown loose, taking soft, hungry gulps of good grip on my own sense. Your is next to me, payload. Hold my earlobe while we're dancing, tongue in. Relief is a piss bottle of gratitude toward a sudden everything. Within it, I'm horny only for peace. Okay, this is very new, so I wrote it maybe this morning. Well, like part of it. It's kind of fun, you know. It's called A Gender's Exploitative. Just let me explain it. Oh my fucking god, sunset again. Cicadas on loudspeaker. Today's thunderstorm cleaned the world. Why not clean my joints too? A soft whine of machinery is somewhere far away. A slow whine of hips is working close to move out the sweating. In the morning when the sand is washed and spread and threaded with the rivulets of trace elements, immortal birds on my sneaker laces. There's nothing godly going on around here though. It's been a long time since we spoke of women, afraid to utter an application of everything and nothing. A word too Western to mean anything. Oh, changeling. I have no more craving for precision. Just blurred, scattered, just the final moments after prayer, landing into dust. Just the shadow of new growth that hovers on you still. Just changes, incredibly slow, yet tissue with careful deliverance. We have watched love come and go, and are only halfway through living like this. These words are an effort to seduce time, I think, to lengthen it. To be released from woman in the sense that I remind men that I am murderable, and released from man as in urgency and near constant. Either way, every way I want it is an event, an action, a global flash of lightning, some gestures in the darkness, a close enveloping mist on these blue evening mountains. Okay, I'll read two more. This is background music. I'm downtown walking on Marion and Fifth, and a woman is waving across the broad intersection. I raise a hand and I wave as the sun disappears behind clouds again. It turns out she's stretching, and actually I'm stretching also. There's no gesture to show you're sure how something started. Moving on, I'm honest. Most mornings I'm already thinking of you. When my mind ends this dream, it looks elsewhere for an anchor. I cross the walk and crane my neck into the sun. Old thoughts slide against old thoughts, making ash for nothing new to rise from. Again, I brought you into a day that otherwise, with its loud, quiet, and watery wind, is unaware of the way love develops. This light is undependable. Wherever sounds are forced in my body, they rebel. Okay. I think. Okay. Sure, this is my last one. This is called Raga, 2017, latest version. I accidentally typed Amazon instead of Seattle in a text and fell apart screaming like a screaming dog at the end of the sentence. Bye-bye to the sport, only memory from here on out. The shoals at Point Lobos cut me loose, as did Wonder Valley's emptiest basketball court. Now I'm unafraid of love, as I'm unafraid of dying. That is, I'm very nervous. Their inevitability is slow clog around the weekends.
Oh man, that was fabulous. Oh, hey everybody. I'm Sophia Dahlin. Thanks for coming. Oh, this is mine. Oh, Lindsay, these are yours. Oh no. Oh, can you try to like I'm too many fun. Oh no. I can't do the thing you do with your voice, so it really wouldn't work. Oh. I need a being in person. So this is my first time reading in the Bay in person since my first book came out, and vision. So it's very exciting and special to me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for organizing it. Thank you, Claire, for that perfect intro. And Leena, that was so beautiful. And Sophia, it was great. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Then read, just the tiniest little bit from this book because I love it, but we've been living together a long time. And verse tips to the soul like cows to the pasture. Living so vividly within her fears has lost me to my own, her face all overgrown with eyes. But here my son starts up as guiltily as if caught sleeping, and my oceans melt their caps in passing, and my men return their foot soles to the ground. Living so open to her loveliness has knit me flat upon my back to planet, open mouthed to air. The sticky stars that complicate the night in certain rural places I might go to feel in company of my desire will snag peaks of my skin. Living within her mouth has coupled me in echoes to my speech. The taller floats me triply on prongs. But I'm the lump in the snaking line, taking my legroom while I share a cab. Her wide eyes whitening my path, her ululating thyroid, rubbery, erasing tongue. Can you hear me okay? I kind of murmur like I'm a radio DJ. You can still hear me? Alright, okay. Inky, and I've been dented by it. I've lain and looked into the ceiling, and the tiles have stirred. While the trees bent the wind in, I have swum in my clothes. Gripping counters have leaned, and my neck has rolled. I have loaned attention as my scalp sweated the very tip of me I was, and the din ate the gasp I lost standing. And I have bitten the arm of the couch and left holes. I have lain on my own back, and this, it has sat on me. Feeling tall. Yeah. Glove money. I need money to buy gloves. So that I never need again to touch it. Money. Also for other hands. When they hand me money, handling others' money, others' hands, disgusting, and cold, or hot, and lotion. To regulate my own hands' temperatures, gloves, to buy them money. What would be the most ideal would be to have the gloves already. Somebody, I need you to hand me some gloves, to hand me some money here in the glove store, so that I may hand that money in my glove to the cashier there, whose name is French for cashier. And she will handle me the coins I'll catch in my leather palm, or velvet palm, or artificial breathable fibers like Lance Armstrong and Athlete of my time. I would like enough money for gloves, enough gloves for money, and 2 hid hands held by my secret skin. Once before I knew I was a kind of lesbian, when I just liked boys, when I was but a board, when I despised my own thin, small-boned chest, I saw on her, we were in somebody's driveway, in full sun, a classmate wore a charm, a little hand on a chain, palm down, penny-length ornament that rested past her clavicle, above her breast. It is the part I now know I love to touch the best, just where the fat starts. I stood though, dumbstruck, not knowing yet, that I am a hand, and my sex is a hand. I thought, how erotic. How could it be so erotic, how secret, that her necklace touches her. She wears the touch in public. I started writing in a new mode. I'm a poet of limited modes, love, sex, nature, but it is love. But I have this new mode, it's called bisexual trolling. So this poem is called Bye, they say. It's more lesbian culture to be bi than lesbian. South American man, maybe. Or was that rumors? Still, it's very lesbian culture to marry a man, then a lot of women sulk about it and write poems. What sweeter coupledry than that shared by a room of women sad and another woman straight? There are 2 kinds of lesbian, Sappho and a room full of lesbians. A lesbian couple falls into one or the other of those categories. Violet and I are Sappho. You and I are a roomful of lesbians. Brooke keeps dating men, but she does it in a really gay way. She keeps picking them up in trucks. She calls them boys. Men like her so much they can't. They get all relaxed and wet. I guess if you really, really, really like men, it's not even heterosexual, right? It's just nice. When I'm with a man, I'm never gloating. I'm never like, oh, this is I just feel like, oh no, they won't let me in the room full of lesbians. Let me in. I said the thing about lesbian culture being bi, and Rona was pissed. She wants credit for her dedication. When Rowan got gay, he said he was gayer than me, and I was like, put in the hours, bitch. Did you know Sappho spelled it Sappho? Sophie. Did you know they called her violet haired? No hecklers. I read that one in Northampton, and I did get heckled. And I did like it. Shell baby. At South Ends today, we searched for a theme with my therapist and I. She brought up this Covidelic pornography my love and I are in. It's safe. But once she almost moved a lover in, think of the hijinks. I haven't wanted to date online. The friends I sit airily a part of in yards or a park are often exes. That's as sexy as they've been. Amorously, I say, I love you, stay safe, thanks for red wine, I'll suck the last of it off my ball jar's bitch lid and stash that in my coat. That's enough. If I can't touch a new person, can't even get close enough to lift their smell in, how could I? I mean, if I can't fuck you, how do I know I want to? Well, still, it might help me feel more like a fuller of winged emergences, like trilling like a flash, than the flat shut thing I sometimes am on ends. I used to date like combos Pokemon. Now I'm like the way an egg won't let the sun or moon. I love reading poetry to you right now. Yeah. The Legion of Honors and Normal Course assholes. Sorry about my giveaway of telling a story. We agree that cats' giveaways are righteous. We assure you your giveaway is welcome. At least it is understood, given your birth date. For our birthday, we tolerate your giveaways, for we are a little bit in love with them. You can lightly take our love in your giveaway. When we're loved at last, you can miss its torturing. The problem with friends is they fall in love and get nods and have a toddler. Or just get very busy and famous. In this poem, I am you and we is everyone. Any friend who feels in love tonight, you too, though also full of furious knees, rolling eyes, and kicking claws up, we brought you a clutch of amaranth, a juicy ball jar of hydrangeas. Falling in love doesn't mean friends fall away, it is just a lot of business of lands and titles. When you come downstairs in your giveaway, it is your giveaway to beam at us in turn, each of us in turn, your amorous dimples, you and your late summer satin, seaside curtains frame an aching moon, oh, the moon of my love and mine. Movie women inherit lodges, we're always inheriting loneliness, just a little before 1 a.m. on our floor mattress. We're not quite committed to her room. Sorry. Oh, love's impatient. I'm tonight's love chum. I need to rest in my bed of love. Love, I'm anxious not to suffer. You see, my girlfriend's very young. I'm sort of ready to give birth to someone even younger. I've been practicing my game guard. I need a lot of buttressing. Finally, I can admit the need for buttressing. I used to be so raw all the time. Now milk buttresses my coffee, thick soles my thin feet, sweaters my perilous collarbones. Weeks of patience my flirtation, weeks, months of patience, years of it, forgetting it actually, falling off the earth's cute hip, just completely spacing. Yeah. Cool. A Jacob's ladder? Magical. More so than the yo-yo. Rolling her shoulders, rock smack the cane. Both familiar and distant, just how shit's handled. My mother ended an email about shoe shopping. Is that okay, my darling, dearest Sophia, whose tiny feet drummed me from the inside to my intense amusement? By the highway, roller coasters advertised passengers a different ride. I hope we stay together long enough for you to get famous and me jealous. Sunglasses so that the sun does not pester us for autographs nor autobiograph itself upon us overmuch. Mosquitoes terraform tits so do contagious genetic materials, so do pills, so my magic too. If we have a baby, you'll be the second woman I make a mom in her 20s. Definitely on the livestream. Alright. I wrote this after reading this wonderful poem by Joshi Sophia, and I can't remember the title right now. And the last one I read after reading the poem from Jacob's book. Thanks for just and yeah. Snow sits on the grass, reaching for earth, my foot met grass. In marijuana, weed is bud, tree is grass. All plants concur. This has to be natural. I wasn't gonna wisp of smoke lifted by breath. I hadn't met myself in the mirror's smoky breath. Reeds with honeybees, the clover nods its head languorously in love and breath. Ease is natural. Fear is too. It is easy for anything to be too much. I never slept. I was afraid I'd miss my chance. I couldn't wake her. She slept outside of chance. I felt chained by chance. It is me whose chains slip from experience. I sit to sun my feet outside the window. Sun bellows down on paired feet out past the window. Goblins sneak babies out through open windows. You don't want a baby who's never sucked the cut breath of grass from the airy window. You better put the baby out the window and wait to see what the green field returns. Thank you.